face my foe, I lay them low, I fight them without fear. And if I should fall and walk no more, I shall not shed a tear. But war is cruel, my comrades die, and I go on alone. I will not stop to ask them why, I know I can't go home. I face my foe, I lay them low, I fight them without fear. And if I should fall and walk no more, I shall not shed a tear. My back is broke, my armor's rent, my blood is on the field. My sword is gone, my body's spent, I lie upon my shield. I faced my foe, they laid me low, but I go with a smile. The labyrinth, it calls to me, I'll wander it a while. The labyrinth, it calls to me, I'll wander it a while. My eyes are clear, my back is strong, my harness free of rot. My sword is sharp, my shield unbound, my pride will waver not. I face my foe, I lay them low, I fight them without fear. And if I should fall and walk no more, I shall.
Amazing. Our camera feed is frozen. I don't know if we've frozen on your end.
Yep, we've gone live as well, so
Perfect. So
we,
it's
we,
the perfect time
it's
for us
perfect timing. Yeah, for everything to go wrong. It's only going to be the internet, so we'll give it 30 seconds or so, and we'll see what happens. If not, just close the camera down and then come back, because that's what normally happens anyway. So, hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Welcome to. Well, we're going to talk LARP, we'll talk Empire. We're going to get a close up of Sam's face, and yeah, hopefully this will sort itself out. So we're going to chat a bit about the league. We've got some league players in chat, hopefully, and then we can see what goes on there. Doesn't seem to have sorted itself out at all.
Yeah, just going to see if I can turn the camera off and on again. Look, let's do it live. I will sit here and try and work out how to turn my camera off.
Yeah, turn it on. There we go. Ooh, my green screen. Turn it on again. There we go.
And
there we go. Yep, sorts it out. Always. Turn it off and on again. That's all we needed to do. So we've been. So you've been. So we do a lot of chat about Empire here. We do a lot of chat about LARP in general here. So because you're both experienced LARPers, I think is the correct way to say it. So
just say we're old. Just say we're old.
Well, yeah, not old though. That's the problem. I'm fucking ancient, and you're younger than me. So I mean, I turned 40 3 weeks ago. It's disgusting.
Oh, you've got 2 years on me. You'll be all right.
It doesn't help. Doesn't help. But thank you. I appreciate it. So, Kally, you started off a vampire because that was where I first met you like a decade ago.
Yeah. So that would have been like the Mind's Eye Theatre spin-off in Southampton.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, God, that was ages ago. There's been sort of various iterations of that. And then got suckered into PD's Maelstrom quite early on.
Mm.
Coincidentally, the same year you joined.
Yeah, we both joined at Cons Nadan.
Yeah. Although we did not know each other at that time. Our fates were entwined. So.
Yes. Yeah, because...
And then, Go on.
Yeah,
go on. I was going to say, and then obviously all the delights and fame of the Novax Carnival.
Mm.
And from there on to originally High Guard in Empire with the Shattered Tower, and
then she saw the light.
And then wanted something more colour.
Yeah, she didn't join Wintermark. I was going to say she didn't see the light at all.
No, I wanted something
a bit more colour.
There's so many bloody people in it. It skews any light that comes in.
Yeah, true story. So
I basically realised High Guard has a camp up on the hill away from the mud, and so does the League, and therefore transitioning from one to the other seemed sensible.
Yeah, that's what I quite liked about being in the Navarre, because we were in the woods, so all the water just drained away quite nicely.
Well, again, when I was looking for a business partner, I was looking for people I could go and meet who were not in the mud. So yeah.
Excellent. So and Sam, the first time I met you was actually at Maelstrom as well.
Yeah. I remember meeting you at Maelstrom with the you made a stone hammer that didn't pass safety check.
No, it didn't. But
it looked fucking awesome. It looked like a load of stack of slate bolted together.
Yes, yeah. I had Rob Willets in the Navarre has actually made a proper one for me now, so it's what I actually use at Empire. So this one does pass weapons check, thankfully. It's a beautiful thing. I think the design brief for that was I want it to look like it's been made by a child. And that was it, and it's perfect. He also made the hallowed potato for us as well. So yeah, which caused PD to stop all the hallowings of innate objects, because there was like a little chick, and I think a flower
going around as well for a while.
Yeah, there was loads of it. It was ridiculous. So, but yeah, lots of fun there, because I believe I actually I beat you up in character as well as my golem, because I was asked to. I think I was a doorman or something at the time. I don't really remember too much. But because I hated it. I hated Maelstrom so much.
Was this the golem that I rode into battle at the
Yes.
the Banana Grand Finale?
Yes. Yeah.
So we had different interactions with Steve's golem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was yeah.
Maelstrom was fine. I think you can see PD have addressed a lot of the problems that Maelstrom had in Empire.
Yeah.
They've used Maelstrom and learned from their mistakes quite well, I think.
Oh,
but yeah, guard duty of any sort in LARP is not fun.
No.
Do things.
I think for me there was outside issues for me at Maelstrom, which meant that I didn't enjoy it. So I'm sure if I went along and didn't have that psychopath with me, I would have really enjoyed it. But so
I think like any LARP, it comes down to the group you're with as well. Obviously, like you had the White Wolves, I had Novax Carnival. We had some really strong groups behind us, so it definitely adds to your enjoyment of an event is who you're there with.
Yeah, and if you've got a really good group like the Seawolves.
The Seawolves, you say?
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard they're very good. Yeah, but very effective on the battlefield.
Very effective. And do you know what? They also make absolutely fantastic port.
Yes.
Which I would highly recommend. What is it? It's a throw in a bottle?
It's very
but
reasonable.
It's worth the money. Like it tastes expensive because it is expensive.
I think we got that.
Oh,
Yeah.
we've lost you. I've lost your image there. Sorry.
Seamless.
Oh, you're back now. Oh, you're back. Sorry.
We're back. Port.
No supple. Yeah, we just worked
Well
it
done.
out.
Well done. Well
Yeah.
done. But
That's the sort of subtlety that you get in the league,
Yeah.
which we're here to talk about.
yes, definitely. The Seawolves. We've already had a quote here. The Seawolves, are they the second best league group after the Crimson Reapers?
Only to the uninformed.
Only to
You
the
wouldn't want
uninformed.
to say that publicly. People would know you were out of the loop.
So I've never heard of the Crimson Reapers, but I have heard of the Seawolves. So just want to throw that one out there.
Yeah, we can't see the comments just so people understand. So we're not ignoring you.
No, I am. So if you got any league-ish related questions, especially Alex, who's joining the league now and wants to know a lot of stuff, but any Empire related questions for an experienced LARPers with more knowledge of the game than me, because I don't know, I'm just dumb. So
Otherwise, we can just sit here and chat shit for an hour.
Yeah, we're really good at that.
yeah, oh yeah, definitely. So what was it that drew you both to the league then, apart from the more colour?
The Borgias mainly.
Yeah,
it was
well, you went before I did because I was still in Shattered Tower at the time.
Yeah.
So.
So for me, I watched the Borgias with Jeremy Irons in it, which I highly recommend. Like if you haven't seen it, see it. It's good.
Yeah.
But it's just that sort of like polite but snippy, just sort of like masquerade of friendliness. The sort of like network of favors that you owe or that have owed to you.
Social politics.
Yeah, League is a very, very social politicky city.
Yeah.
League's a very social politicky nation. And yeah,
Let's try to remember there's more than one.
there is more than just Temeshwar. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's probably fair for anyone that doesn't know. Sam plays Giuseppe Sanguineo, who is the
Senator for
of Temeshwar. I'm far more important. I play the mercenary captain Artemisia de Caravaggio of the Seawolves. So, just in case anybody doesn't know who I am, which of course is crazy.
Well, no, you're not wearing your hat, so
That's true. It's my own
No.
defining. Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
But yeah, so that's more or less sort of what drew me to the league was the sort of the social role play aspect to it, and it's something that comes across in game really, really well. Like everyone in the league is sort of like so part of the hearth magic is that you keep a record of no, it's not vengeance.
It's definitely not vengeance.
No,
We've had
it's
that
called-
specifically clarified.
So it's your reckoning book.
Right.
So it's a record of all of the reckonings that are owed to you or that you owe, and everyone keeps that with them and sort of refers to it constantly. You just get that sort of like real, like every conversation that you have, to a greater or lesser extent, has sort of these undertones and subtleties to it. That's really good fun. If you've ever played Vampire, Vampire Mind's Eye Theatre, it's like that but done well. I mean, you're not wrong.
No.
Yeah. Favors is the unofficial currency in the league, and it's a part of the brief that everybody really does buy into, and it's each in their own way. So you've got princes, which tend to be, not always, but tend to be the group leaders and spokesmen. Their favours, their reckonings will probably be quite significant, quite influential, carry quite long-term ramifications from them, but it goes right the way down to the newest of the new, the youngest of the young, where it can simply be, like, oh, you helped me out this one time when I didn't know where to find so-and-so, and that will be repaid at a later date. So every interaction you have is seen as a financial transaction in terms of favours.
Yeah.
And don't think that. So for any of the new players that are thinking of joining the league, and I highly recommend, it's great fun. Like, don't think that owing someone a favour is a bad thing.
No.
So I wasn't there to experience this directly, but I've heard a rumor that one person on the battlefield was saved by a heroic charge, which was led with the phrase, "Don't let him die. He owes me money." And so that sort of league in a nutshell is.
That's brilliant. I like that.
It's very different because people tend to mix it up with the Brass Coast slightly, where the Brass Coast everything has a value, but it tends to be a monetary value, so everything can be ascribed to cost in terms of coin. And that's very much part of their culture, as I think I'm not brilliant with their brief, but I think that stems from their sort of trading and sort of nautical trades and things like that. Everything has a value to it. With the league, it's more about your reputation, who you're dealing with, what you're known to do, how good your word is.
So everything has a reputational value.
Yeah, so if you have done favours with somebody very important, that looks good on you. Even if you owe them a favour, the point is you're involved with that person's circle of influence.
Okay.
And if you owe very important people some favours, whilst that may sound negative, those very important people have a vested interest in seeing you survive to pay those favours back. So it can go well for you.
Okay. So because I've got one bit of business going on with the Harlequin.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's one of our egregores.
Yeah. It's not going to go well for them. Let's put it that way. Because unfortunately they picked me to do business with, and I'm shit at business. So.
Okay. So when you say it's not going to go well for them, they've invested something in you. Well, people make bad deals all the time.
Yeah, they're not getting anything back. We've had a few a few questions have come through now. Alex, who's joining the league, is an experienced vampire player. Also, they've been playing Mind's Eye Theatre since they were 18, and they've akined the favours sent to boons in Vampire.
Yeah, it is exactly that.
Yeah, just get rid of the whole sort of like major, minor, trivial blood life boon. That's not a thing. A favour.
Yeah.
And it's up to you whether whether like one favour pays off another, or whether like a favour that gets done for you.
But it carries the same social significance. You would not negate on a favour. You wouldn't renege on a favour. That would be political suicide.
Okay.
If you failed at a reckoning, then you would have multiple reckonings coming back at you.
In fact, there are people who are professional reckoners who are basically debt collectors. So if you are, for any reason, not in a position to go and chase that up yourself, there are people that will go and do that for you.
There is a beautiful group called the Withering Gaze, who unfortunately are based in Holberg. I want them for Temeshwar because it's such a Temeshwari thing. It's just like the sort of like the hard choices, making that sort of difficult decisions.
They specialise in reckoning.
They specialise in reckoning. They're a winter coven, and they have made some absolutely wonderful custom curses for people. And I know they were very heavily involved in cursing Cassinia. When all the mirrors in Sarbos got broken by a bunch of Skaith worshipping High God fools.
Keep it for the field.
Sorry. I was gonna say we keep a lot of it for the field. Alex has also asked.
Deliberate misrepresentation, by the way, like Skaith worshipping. I know you didn't worship Skaith. That
we know of. So Alex has asked, as a new player in the league, what would you recommend for a new player? How to get involved with groups? I'm coming as a solo player, not knowing anybody. Any insider tips?
What's the archetype? Tell us, give us a few things about your character, and then we know roughly what type of game you would suit.
Yeah, so just to fill some dead air. So the archetypes, by the way, and cut me off when you get an answer. The archetypes, by the way. So you've got a Bravo, who is the typical, just sort of like braggadocio, fighter. Think someone like Mercutio from Romeo and Juliet.
Swords and swagger.
Swords and swagger, yeah. Or they're very sort of like musketeer type.
Is it Athos? Was he the alcoholic one?
Oh, no, Porthos is young.
Porthos, that
Porthos
was
is
it.
the cheerful one.
Yes.
Yeah, Oliver Reed. That's who I'm thinking. Yeah.
But yeah, the Bravos, again, it's a fairly broad archetype. So yes, it is your standard fighter, but it can also be people that sort of take part in street entertainment, dueling instructors. Anybody that sort of earns a living by a martial aspect would probably fall under Bravo.
Yeah. Alex has said they're playing a physic, an apothecary, and a surgeon. They're doing all the medic stuff.
That's the skill set, but there's loads of ways you can take that. So how that will play off of the archetype that you're playing, the league sort of like the league archetype. So not just like your character class.
Yeah.
So if you're a Montebank, so a Montebank is someone who, like, think of a card sharp. So that they typically use a little bit of magic, but they're there to sort of like scam people. So a Montebank physic would be sort of like a sort of back alley doctor that sort of makes like does a few sort of questionable surgeries for questionable people.
Asks no questions.
Like
doesn't matter how that militiaman's dagger got into your armpit, sir. We can fix that for you.
Whereas a Bravo physic would be someone who sort of like rocks around with their Carter, with their and sort of like patches up their friends, but doesn't do a thing for like rival Carters. The hell, like Steve's turned very, very red. Did you see something?
So Helen, my other half, she's just commented, just saying Steve's eagerly taking this all in case Smith decides he's jumping to the league.
It's the winners, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Because the losers don't survive.
No.
Whereas a prince, so someone who is the head of a Carter, who is also a physic, would probably be more sort of like more well-to-do, upstanding doctor type person who
surgeon consultant,
yes. Drives a BMW kind of person. So yeah, how you fit in, how you interact with everyone else in the league will depend very much on the sort of the archetype that you're coming in with.
I think it's probably fair to say the archetype is your personality rather than your skill set.
Yeah.
So whether you're going to be someone that lives by their wits, whether you're going to be somebody that boasts and swaggers their way through the day, whether you're going to be somebody that looks after their group, makes the business dealings, ensures you've got the money coming in and going out, whether you're somebody that's more involved in the socialite society, so the Kikibeos, are very much concerned with reputation, with the flow of information, with the scandal and the gossip, and making sure where you are in the social pecking order is kept healthy. Harpies for a vampire reference. So again, like what you do for a job, be it physics surgeon, that kind of thing, can fit all of those depending on what you want to do when you're not stitching people back together.
So what were the three?
Well, so there's more than three.
There's more than three. Oh right, okay.
Okay, so you've got Bravos, you've got Montebanks. Thank you. You've got princes, merchant princes. Then you've got Kikibeos. I can't remember what the priests have a special name, and I can't remember what it is.
Bishops or.
I think it's bishops. Or bishops who sort of like look after the virtue of the league.
You can tell our group is very religious.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We're very open to loyalty. We picked our virtues very, very carefully. Loyalty and prosperity. Those, and someone in chat or someone watching this later is going to be screaming at me for forgetting.
You've got the more official magicians that do the dramaturgy.
Yes, dramaturgists.
The Montebanks, as we say, they're more people that live by their wits. They tend to be a little bit shadier in their dealings, and then you've got the more public front of the magic users in
actual
the league.
Dramaturgists.
Yeah, in the league, that's very much focused around theatre, roles portrayed on the stage, and that has power. People's perception of the role you are playing will give that performance a certain amount of weight and influence that conveys into magic.
Yeah.
So we'll see quite a lot of everything down from the lowest street performers playing for a crowd on the corner with a group of 2 or 3 swapping roles, or you will see the league theatre, which has very big productions of very highly trained and entertaining actors and musicians, and they will put works together, and that can often be the process for casting larger spells.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with the League theatre.
Yeah.
So I've
Absolutely excellent performances.
yeah,
Which leads on to masks. Alex, you need a good mask.
yes.
More than one. So yeah, masks are one of my favourite parts of the League. So the whole point of like wearing a mask is that you are putting on a different personality. So however many masks you have, it's up to you. What each of your masks represent is up to you. I only have the one, and that's the mask that I use to have like difficult conversations. So it's like, it's going to sound so pretentious. It's literally the sort of the barrier that you put over your face to sort of separate yourself from any of the sentimentality that is involved in a situation. It's sort of like, mask on, your wife died.
You have sent
mask off. Sorry, yeah, occasionally.
Yeah, Andy has said that you have your own priest.
We do, yes. Although he's reluctant to come back to events. So again, in that nice example of how roles can blend, our group priest, who is loyalty based, as the Seawolves are very much focused on loyalty, he is superbly adored by basically every Kikabeo in the League, because obviously, no, just everybody. Obviously, the Seawolves are the pinnacle for this. But he played the aspect of a priest where he went out and socialised, he went out and danced. We went to the pledge ball, and he was mingling and gossiping and exchanging information, dancing with other Kikabeos, and basically pushing our reputation as a group. So although, yes, he plays our priest and handles our blessings and bindings and so on, he still has that aspect to his personality where he's very much a socialite. So you don't have to get locked into one role. You can explore a little bit.
Yeah. So we've had a few more things coming through. So Moonchild Majora says shady. Bah. Monty Bonks. Oh my God. Monty Bonks are good, upstanding citizens. John says the Reaper calls. So I think Alex is telling us about their character and what they want to do. So I think it sounds like they're still a bit stuck for the direction, the archetype to go for, or something like that. So
I wish we could put them on. That would be great to turn this into a like.
Well, I'll read out what they've said. I'll read out what Alex has said here. So he's a serious kind of guy. He takes his job seriously. I don't think he would cheat people. Upstanding, definitely. I'm planning on social climbing with sort of good sense, dependability, good social skills, reputation. I hope he'll be respected. I thought you only took merchant priest if you plan to run your own guild. I'm just literally reading out everything that Alex has put. I guess if we're using vampire references, I'd make him a good candidate for Primogen or Seneschal. Someone who would be good as an advisor, but obviously I won't be getting there that fast, that quickly.
It sounds an awful lot like a Kikabeo to me, but...
Yeah, I was going to say either that or one of the more serious dramaturgists, depending on how you're planning to do your healing. If you were to do it with a little bit of performance, a little bit of storytelling...
Well, they said chirurgeon, so...
Okay, so either way, if you are treating with a little bit of performance, a little bit of storytelling, the relevant mask and so on, you could go down that route. Obviously, that's more, it tends to be into the magical skill set, but it's not going to stop you from sort of performing in that way. I think your best bet would be to come in and explore a little bit, and then maybe go back to PD and say, right, now I've had a go at this. This is the pathway that's quite interesting for me, because they're really good about allowing you to tweak. If you're new and you're still finding your feet in the game, they will allow you to tweak if you come in and say, actually, this skill hasn't worked out how I wanted, or that represents what I want to do a lot better.
Yeah.
It's don't think, right, that's it, I've spent my XP and it's set in stone. They are a really good company for sort of working with the player base.
Yeah. So Alex has said they've no magic. Andy has said, if I come back, I might play the priest far more in the idea of looking after my group rather than socialising. A dependable shoulder to cry on, or who will stand in the way of troubles. Alex, I 100% want to do healing physics stuff.
Yeah, so Alex, so to me, it sounds like Kikabeo would be a really good fit for you because a Kikabeo is there to primarily they're there to act as like social grease. So that there's this reputation or there's this misconception, sorry, that Kikabeos are just prostitutes, which they're not. Some like prostitution or sexual services is an option that some Kikabeos could take if they wanted to, but they're far more commonly to be just sort of like someone acting as like professional social grease, like someone who's there to sort of like make meetings flow easier. Or
they tend to be really good ambassadors, representatives. They'll set meetings up. They'll smooth over ruffled feathers. They'll get you the gossip on your rival. And these are things that you will either have in your group or that you can purchase as a service.
I've just thought Dominic Cummings.
Sorry. You are your position for that sort of thing because you hold someone's life directly in your hands. That's an ideal time to press them for favours.
Yeah.
You're reckoning with good and fat for an event. You've got the fact that you'll be treating all manner of people if you were to connect yourselves to the hospital that runs in game.
Which you should do.
You absolutely should do for just information on the healing game itself, for connections, for a bigger game in itself. All different nations have people working there. They're a really good starting point. So if you were to seek the hospital out, the game that I could predict you capitalising on would be to be treating the fighters coming back from skirmishes and battles and using their gratitude from that as your reckoning favours to then give you influence across the rest of the field. So you will always know a guy because you put his kidney back yesterday.
Yeah.
So it gives you a good chance to have a chat to these people, find out what groups they're in, what resources they have at their disposal, where their interests are, and then when somebody is looking for somebody who knows about something, chances are you'll have a point of contact for them.
And so if you're coming in completely fresh and completely new, they're an ideal group to sort of like introduce yourself to. Not least because they're a really cool group. The guy who runs it's a guy called Mikhail Swoman, or maybe he doesn't run it, but he's one of the administrators on the hospital board. Literally one of but
we've actually had a chat with all the hospital members, so I think we've had like 7 of them on. And we've been chatting away, so they've helped out a lot. They really have. So
go through Hefty Yeti's back catalogue and look for the episodes where he talks to some of the...
There's 60 of them, so have fun.
I'm sure Hefty Yeti himself can dig you up a link very easily.
That sounds like busy work to me.
If you don't get in contact with them beforehand, certainly seek them out in the field. They're really good with new players, really well organised, very used to helping people get involved in the game, and a really good starting point for lots of screaming and blood and gore and drama post battles and skirmishes.
And no one's first game is sort of like all action all the time.
Mine was.
Well, okay, fine.
So was mine.
Yeah, it's just kind of people we are.
Unfortunately, Sam. Sorry, mate.
My first game wasn't all action and screaming, and like it took me a while to warm up to get into the sort of political spheres that I now move in as a Zen.
It's just the sort of person you are, Sam. A bit slow on the uptake.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, wait, what?
Oh, there we go. Dan's put the link to the video in chat for us. Cheers, Dan. Thank you, mate.
Legend Dan.
He's on it. It's good to have people.
Why not toast Dan with some Seymour cherry pop?
Oh dear, what you like. If you want to link that hospital group, you'll have to chuck it to one of my mods, I'm afraid, because they're the only people who can put links into chat.
Fine,
so Paladin.
We can try and find them after the show.
It's fine. I think someone's already tried to put it into chat. So if you linked Dino Wookie or Phil H001 with that link, then they'll put it in there for you.
I would be very, very surprised if they didn't have at least a Facebook group.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, they definitely do. So Alex has also said, what about meeting groups? Would you recommend just walking up to people and chat? I guess.
So we have the debutante ball.
Yes, so one of the things that the league does, which is wonderful, that I have yet to attend.
One of the many things that the league does,
which
that
is wonderful, is the debutante ball. So
Right.
it's shortly after time in. The idea is for sort of everyone who's new to come to the debutante ball and meet the movers and shakers of the league.
Yeah.
And get themselves attached to a group.
You will get sort of carters and companies that are looking for new members go there. You will get people that are looking for political influence. So they'll be looking for players that have got congregations. They'll be looking for players that have got businesses, and they'll want to talk to them about how to use those resources well. They'll want to exploit them, but it's all good game.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
but it's basically a sort of method way of giving new players a chance to meet people.
Yeah.
Other than that, if you're confident just walking around and chatting to people, that is fantastic. If you're wealthy enough to hire a kikabeo to introduce you around, they will be all over that. That is literally what they're there to do. There are various, obviously sort of specific to your profession, there are various areas you can go to, like the hospital for healers. You will get people going in and out observing Senate if you're interested in the political side of things. You can go and sit in the gallery and see what's going on there. If something catches your attention, chase that senator down and ask them about it. Ask what's going on. Ask how you can help. You can speak to the priests. They have their sort of national meetings, their what's the word I'm after? Assemblies. They have their national assemblies. They have their
virtue
assemblies. They have all different kinds of meetings where they'll be talking about what they're trying to get done across the nation and across the empire. Again, pin them down, ask them what's going on, ask them anything that interests you. How can you help? You know, who can you speak to?
The thing that's great about Empire is that there is way too much to do.
Yeah.
And no one has enough time to do all of it. So almost to a person, everyone on the field will be looking for someone to go and do some bit of legwork that they just don't have time for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if trading catches your attention, speaking to people that are buying and selling resources and seeing if there's anything you can acquire for them, and then trying to find that for yourself and make a little bit of profit on top.
Arbitrage is a great way to make money in Empire.
People that want to get a weapon commissioned or a piece of armor commissioned or an item built, find out what resources are needed for that. See if you can track those resources down, sell it to them as a package.
Yeah. Oh, I know an artisan. Doesn't matter if you don't know an artisan. Just say you do and then find one.
Yeah, exactly. Lie a lot.
Yeah, that's the gift of Vampire right there. Is that because they have to prove that you're lying. So
the league is massively about how good is your word. So as long as you don't completely mess up and betray somebody or be left holding literally nothing at the end of the deal, if you are willing to put your neck on the line and say, I can get that for you, your game then becomes, holy hell, I need to get that for them, because that's your reputation right there. So it depends on sort of what bit of the game catches your attention, but there will be an aspect of that going on in the field, and you can just literally grab people and ask them, how can I get involved? 99.9% of players are really good at getting new people involved in what's going on, because we want people involved. We want more voices on the field. We want more people talking about what we want to be known and public. So they will use your keenness and send you out into the world to go and do things for them.
Yeah. Thanks for the bits, Alfie. Thanks for the donation. And thank you for whoever the anonymous person was that gifted the sub there to John. Thank you so much for doing that. That's awesome. We've had... I've lost all the questions now. Chat's moved, so I've lost it all.
We've been sitting here talking for fucking ages.
So, do the League people wear masquerade masks in the hospital? Because I thought League, you had to wear your mask all the time.
No. So the mask is there to be a different personality for you.
Right, okay.
Give some examples, because everybody's got a different point that they would put their mask on. It's very much a personal thing.
So as I said, for me, it's for when I sort of have to distance myself from something that's quite emotionally charged and just try and be as rational as possible. That's when I try and put my mask on.
Yeah.
For me, so as the Prince of the Carter, I'm the captain of a mercenary company. I am also a Bravo. So I have the sort of dual role of my personality as Artemisia is very much a loudmouth, swaggering braggadocio who's very full of herself and wants to drink and party and swear and fight and have a good time. However, I also have a group of mercenaries that are reliant on me for their income, and I need us to be taken seriously so as I can get contracts. So I tend to put my mask on when sorting out contracts, when arranging finances, at times when I don't want to be seen as Artemisia the swaggering Bravo who drinks and fights around in the street swearing at people. So I will put the mask on when I need to be taken as a serious business professional. That tends to be my preference for that. There are others that will put their masks on when they're casting magic. There are others that would put their mask on when they are doing healing.
So from the perspective of sort of would they wear their mask in their hospital, it depends on what the personality that they're trying to convey through the mask would do. So if they want to sort of like put on the guise of a doctor, then a mask would be an ideal way to show that. And then, you know, when they get their mask off, that's also an ideal way to show that, like, office is currently closed, fuck off. Or vice versa. Like, sort of like, so when the mask is on, I'm not doctoring. Like,
yeah, I'm having fun now.
I'm no longer the doctor. You can get stuff. So the only time when you have to wear the mask is during the Festival of the Reaper, or as it's colloquially known, Reapermas.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Which is the Winter Festival for the League, and during the Winter Festival, the Reaper will come, and the Reaper is an egregore of the League. They only show up during the Reaper Festival.
Yeah.
If the Reaper sees you without a mask, then you are 100% guaranteed to die. There's no mechanics supporting that.
It's just known.
It's known, and everyone who has been seen by the Reaper without a mask has died later that event. So I'm not saying that there's no mechanics supporting that. I'm just saying that, like, PD have a coven of witches working in
It is
God
a bit,
to
it
make
is a bit
sure.
odd, yeah. Like unrelated coincidental deaths of people that poo-pooed the idea of letting the Reaper see them without a mask.
Yeah, because I remember being in one of the bars when the Reaper walked in, but of course, because I was Navarre, so the face paint is our mask. That's what we were saying.
Yeah, and it's very much a national thing. Others will join, but if you are in the league, leaguers will give you a temporary spare mask. The idea of somebody not having a mask when the Reaper are around would be the idea of somebody not having their underpants on. Somebody will help you out, you know.
So, but with that, I was in there with someone else who didn't have a mask. They had no face paint on. There weren't Navarre. They're from Wintermark, and he literally sat in the corner with his hood all the way down to his chest, and he looked at the floor. And as soon as the Reaper walked past, as soon as he took 2 steps past him, he was up and he was out. That was it. I was just like,
absolutely 100% rational IC and OC reaction.
There are a lot of anecdotal stories about people, either leaguers or from other nations, that for whatever reason have not had a mask whilst the Reaper has been there, and they've died.
And all those anecdotes are 100% true.
Absolutely 100% true, certifiable. But yeah, it is a huge thing. So the winter event, the Festival of the Reaper, which is normally the Saturday night, that would be a time when it would be very, very odd for you to not be wearing your mask, because you could walk around the corner of a tent and come face to face with the Reaper, and he's going to know who you are.
yeah.
No, that's a fair point. They're going to know who you are. Similarly, they're not just a figure of terror. The idea is that they represent death and all its guises, so they're a chance for you to talk to departed loved ones, to pass gifts on to departed loved ones. Your entire group is basically dead, so Reaper Mass is quite expensive for you. The Torn Banner's gone but not forgotten. But yeah, it's a really nice roleplay opportunity, as long as you've got your mask on, to talk to the Reaper and explain to them what it means to you to get back in contact with those that have passed. And it's a really nice festival with quite a lot of flavour to it. But yes, at Reaper Mass you would wear a mask.
Okay. So Helen's asked, this is good question actually. What part of the league brief do you wish was more apparent in the field, or that more people did realise was more apparent?
Rings. People are really good about knowing that the league use rings, but I feel like not enough attention is given to what individual rings mean.
No.
It was something that really, really endeared me to Darius in the Navarre, who currently holds the Seawolves contract, is as well as signing the contract with us and coming over to the camp and doing everything that we needed them to do paperwork-wise, they also presented us with a ring that represented the contract, because they understood that's how things.
And it was a beautiful, like, leafy thing, so it was like kind of Navarre-y.
It's a ring that represents an arrangement, so it was very leaguey, but it had sort of brown gemstones, like caramelly coloured gemstones, and leaves in it, so it's very Navarre. And I wear that, have worn that since it was given to us, because that represents the contract. And when the contract finishes, that will be returned to them. And it was just one of those moments that you sort of think, oh, I wish there was more of this.
So yeah, it's something that I try to do. I have a stock of. In fact, I might actually have them on the desk with me. I have a stock of rings that I. Here we are. So they're rings that look like this, and they're rings that I give out to people that I make a deal with. So that's something that I try and focus on, so that, you know, like there's always a sort of like physical representation of a significant reckoning that I've agreed with someone.
I mean, it's not something that isn't used. The ring part of the brief, you do see it out. A lot of people talk about it, but I feel like it's the more weight and emphasis that can be put on that, the better. It's a very serious, because again, it's basically an agreement. It's your word. It's your reckoning.
It's far better to have. In my opinion, there is no wrong way to play the game. It is far better, in my opinion, to have a single ring that you know the exact significance of, than it is to have a hand full of rings that look cool.
Yeah, it can become slightly lost in the idea of leaguers have lots of jewellery and they like rings, and all their rings have meanings. And it's like, yes, they do, but it's more than just they have meanings. They are hugely significant and important, or at least they should be.
Yeah.
So yes, the idea of arrangements and deals and loyalties being shown with rings, I would love to see more and more and more of that.
Because my first character got married to a lady from the league, but she was in the Navarre. I think it was her mum or dad was leaguish, and she basically gave me a ring when we agreed to get married and said, "This is to hold you to it," or something like that. And I was like, "Yeah, I was Navarre." I was like, "Yeah, who cares?" basically. And then, as I was going around and I was talking to people in the league about it all, they were really hammering home the importance of what the ring means. It sort of, I then had to go and I got her a ring as well to show that I had sort of looked into it all. But I think I died the following day after the wedding, so it didn't really matter anymore. But
I think most carters, certainly the more established ones, will have rings that represent their carter. So the Seawolves have a gold wolf ring that they all wear.
Yeah.
But then, like your politics rings, I guess for a better word, the red rings that you use, your proxy would usually have one of those. And anybody that you then go on and make an arrangement with or a deal with, it's just a very nice way for those that are paying sharp attention, that if you're chatting with somebody and you look at their hands, if you're in the know, you can get an idea of who those people are connected with. I would dearly, dearly love either the Looking Glass, because I think they do amazingly at this, or one of the Kikabaya groups to produce a who's who of rings. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Book for what that ring means, spotted in the wild. Looking Glass, you paying attention? You should be doing this.
I think we do actually have a rep from the Looking Glass in the Discord, so
good. And they're an incredibly attractive and wonderful person.
They are fantastic. Nothing but praise for them.
Genuinely though, like,
no, they are.
It's fucking awesome.
So that's something that the league does really well as a representative of city states that are very like social, politically orientated. There is a socialite magazine called The Looking Glass, and that will tell you who's who. And
if you haven't read The Looking Glass, then you are
not
of the
informed.
loop.
No, exactly. They will critique people's fashion. They will critique people's speeches. They will have their section of overheard in the plaza, which gives you all the gossip.
Very funny. Yeah, I love that.
May not be true. Who knows?
Yeah, I do like that. We've
It's
had
a wonderful example of how the league functions. Is that it's the kind of place that can have this magazine.
Dan said that he does love himself some rings. He's had Alfie's cheered again. Thanks for the bits, mate. He needs to stop though, otherwise his hands will be from League, not Dawn. Alex is still trying to pick a ring for themselves along with a mask as well. So because Alex had picked to go to Dawn originally,
right?
And then the more they were looking into it, the more they realised that their character was League. So they've got really stuck into that side of it. So they're doing everything. So it's been a fairly recent thing. So, but Alex is doing really well. Their kit is really on point. It looks fantastic.
It's playing for a lot of nations. Is we can signpost you to the egregores. That's sort of quite common sense. I think a lot of people signpost you to them.
Yeah.
Their job is to get you involved.
Yeah.
But similarly, check out the debutantes ball. Check out the hospital. Speak to Kikabayos. They will get you to the right people.
Yeah. John's asked, is the ring both ways, and who gives the ring?
Yes, and up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
An exchange of rings is a mutual agreement. If I give you a ring, it's implying that I own you in a weird way, usually. So exchange rings is an equal footing, usually.
Yeah. Okay. So the Warrior DM has asked, so if we are new, do we wear none or wear a few? What would you advise to a newcomer?
To a newcomer, I'd advise to have 1 or 2 rings that you've got a backstory for. Because like the rings don't have to be an agreement between you and another player. Because the Empire is not just the people who are in Andor. Like the Empire is full of people, most of whom don't attend Andor. So you could have a ring that represents your Carter who just don't happen to attend Andor. They just send you as the representative. Or you have a sort of a ring for a favor that's sort of owed, or it's a ring that someone gave to you years ago that you've lost touch with, but you still wear their ring just as sort of like as to remember the bond of loyalty that you shared, or something, or maybe a lover that died.
Hey, just at me.
Yeah.
My character is a widow, so I have my original wedding ring.
It's black.
It is black because I'm an edgelord. But yeah, so I have a variety of rings that are not necessarily connected to people in the field. But yeah, it's a piece of your kit. Give it a story, give it a background. It's something for you to talk about. At some point in the league, a conversation around rings and what they mean will happen, and it gives you a bit of flavour for that.
Yeah, Alex has said
there is no wrong way to play the game. If you want to have a handful of rings, have a handful of rings. Just have a story for each of the rings that you wear.
Yeah, they've got one ring. They haven't picked it out yet, but it's going to represent loyalty to their parents.
Cool.
Yeah,
great.
Perfect.
Yeah, ideal.
Like a family ring.
Yeah,
that's cool. Helen's asked, what's the next big plan for your character? What nations would you like to try out next?
What nations would I like to try out next?
If you're going to step down.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to choose one of the lesser nations, then I think for me, Urizen I really like, because I really like their sort of sense of arete and poise. Like being as excellent as you can be at something is something that sort of appeals to the snob in me. Plans for my character. I mean, if any of you in chat right now happen to have 15 mithril at a reasonable price, then feel free to talk to me. Because I've got plans around that. But otherwise, big plan for me, and this is sort of like long term plan is see the Druge completely destroyed. That's hatred
you
is
rarely
a strong
that.
word.
Yeah.
I know hatred is a strong word. It's a false virtue. So obviously I don't hate the Druge. That would be, but I strongly dislike them.
Yeah, I think Dan's character is heavily focused around the Druge as well.
Yeah, so, okay. So, you have to have a chat.
So I just saying it's a lesser thing to pick, but but we'll leave that as that. So
if you're focused on coding, then what are you even doing with your life? So.
I still remember getting told off a hell of a lot in Wintermark because I played it out for a year, the Hearth Magic taking over from Navarre to Wintermark. So going into my first proper battle with Wintermark against the Jotun, and they're going, "We don't do this," and I'm there executing them, going, "Yes, we do." And then they're trying to explain to me, no, we really don't do this. It's like, why not? We'll explain it to you in a second. It's like, no, do it afterwards. And I never went to that meeting. So, like for 3 events, I was still executing Jotun and getting into so much trouble. I've
taken you onto the battlefield with the Seawolves once, and had to stop you from executing a Jotun.
Yes,
it depends on whether you're in that loop of information or not.
Well, yeah. But from a league perspective, that doesn't matter. We have no opinions on honour.
We don't, but we do have a contract.
Yes, and as someone who has fought against Sam as well on the battlefield, Sam is a very, very gifted swordsman, I will say.
No. For anybody thinking of assassinating Senator Giuseppe, he's a sitting duck. Seriously, rubbish.
Terrible fighter.
No
He, I think when it comes to fighting styles, I don't think you could get 2 complete polar opposites to me and Sam. Sam is very, very talented fencer. I'm great with bludgeoning things. So anyone who wants to potentially have a bit of fencing practice as well, Sam is very, very...
I love the sound of my own voice, so I love coaching.
Well, yeah, I remember a certain wedding where you were coaching as well. So definitely. So what nations would you like to try next then? So if the worst happens to the Seawolves and...
I mean, the worst is not going to happen to the Seawolves. Only good things happen to the Seawolves.
Cobra Kai never dies.
Yeah.
What?
I could be tempted by Varushka. I really like their cultural background of the sort of the dark forests and the Baba Yaga kind of aspect. That kind of appeals to me. The sort of Eastern European folklore. I think I could get quite into playing sort of half magic and stuff like that with them.
Yeah.
Sort of polar opposite of swaggering around in flouncy shirts and waving swords and telling everybody you're fantastic and wonderful. So, I think I could probably do Varushka.
Dawn appeals.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the appeal of Dawn is just sort of more of the same of what I like about the League. I like the grandstanding and the importance of your reputation and your name. So I love Dawn to bits, but I would probably try something else first. Otherwise, I fear that I would just probably end up playing Artemisia under a different name. However, if anybody is familiar with Captain Charge and his group, or if indeed he's watching, he's a wonderful gentleman and I love fighting alongside him. There are some absolute cracking people in Dawn. So as a nation to play in, I think that is quite appealing. I like a lot of the personalities over there.
Yeah, we've got a fair few Dawnish as well on the in here, or the hefty fam as they refer to themselves. So Urizen and Varushka, that's cool. What else have we got? So I think I had to scroll all the way back up for that. Not League, but I've got a ring that I got Prosperity, and it's now become an integral part of my kit.
Cool.
I didn't pick a copy of the Looking Glass when I went. I'll be looking to get one for sure. The IC publications on the field are fascinating.
They sell out very quickly.
Yeah,
really?
they have I don't know what time they go on sale, but they have
I want to say it's 1:30 on a Saturday.
But they have a set time and there's a queue. Like when the Looking Glass is going on sale, it's like there's a new fucking iPhone.
Yeah, they do queue up down the street for it. And it's brilliant because what happens is everybody's queuing at the pavilion. It's all covered in flowers. The publication comes out. There's this mad rush, and then what you've got is the high street of the League just swarming with people, panning through to see who said what and who. I didn't get a copy. What's going on? It's fantastic. It's so good to see. And it is just like for a socialite city, it's exactly what you imagine when the Who's Who comes out.
Yeah.
Am I in it? Am I in it? Am I in it? No, you're not.
Obviously, I have been swoon of the season in the Looking Glass. Just putting that out there. Have you been swoon of the season?
No, I have not been swoon of this.
No. The only publication I've ever been in was when I was accused of being a werewolf as my old character, thanks to...
I'm assuming it's the Anvil equivalent of Crime Watch, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, that was thanks to Law, that one, and Scott. So a lot to say thanks to them for. So what are you missing?
Publicity.
Oh no, definitely. It did me absolute wonders. It really, really did. I think it with the first election for the new Empress or Emperor came about, it actually put me in contention for it for some reason. So
Okay.
yeah, it was weird. It was bizarre, but hey, never mind. So what are you missing the most about being in the field at the moment? Because obviously we haven't had a single event.
Singing around a campfire. Navarre Song and Story Time is obviously the pinnacle of that. But just even in the smaller groups, the moving around in the evening, catching up with your friends in and out of character.
Yeah.
The sitting down, sharing a drink around the fire, that kind of slower pace reflection on the day's events, plans for tomorrow, catch up. That kind of thing. I love that side of the game when everything is sort of settled and people are just moving around, exchanging information and stories.
And you hear people just off in the distance, like cheering, 3 people, 1 costume around their own fires, and it's just...
It's...
Wintermark.
Yeah.
It's just that nice escapism. I mean, everybody that's been to a LARP festival event will recognise that feeling of realising that you are just cut off from the day-to-day world. You don't think about work, you don't think about bills, you don't think about like housework that you've got to do when you get home. It is a complete immersion in another world, and you don't realise how much you miss that escapism until you don't have it.
Yeah.
And on that, the other thing that I miss is like I have got so many IC plans on the back burner right now that are now currently like going cold because of the long dark, the long dark.
Really long dark.
It's the fear of losing the pace on those sort of plottogenic interactions.
Yeah, I have to, because I don't write anything down, and that's my real downfall when it comes to it. So I'm trying to remember bits of plot that I was involved in, and I'd actually forgotten at one point that I was involved with a Challenge the Iron Duke. So got one of those. Yeah, so it's not a combat one either. So it's poking the PD plot team to actually come up with something which will hopefully be really, really interesting.
And I think in a sort of selfish way for me, where so much of my game comes from our reputation, we are made and broken on our reputation, and not having the events to keep that level of interest up, to keep that level of fame and or notoriety up is a worry for me. Seawolves, yeah.
Yeah, because I have to admit, the Hurstal, we did try to hire you.
It's good. It's subtle.
So he's no.
Sorry, okay, fine. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say I can hide your image again if you want. That's fine. We were trying to hire you.
Are you rich enough?
What, Hurstal? Yeah, we're one of the richest groups in the field. Thanks. So
it's not having the money; it's knowing how to spend it wisely.
We've got. I'm now just blowing it all out my ass at the moment. We've got Chris, who played Achilles.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got his know-all when it comes to trading and stuff like that. He knows what he's doing. He's really, really good at it. So, because I think when he started his new character, he came into that field with something like 10 thrones. He's now got a lot more than that.
So am I going to have to add you to the list? You're going to be the 4th nation that says they're going to hire the Seawolves, because there's a lot of people that say they're going to.
Well, we were contemplating buying out their contract, buying out the Navarre contract. So.
Well, it's not going to be as simple as that. I have to say, talking about what's next for our characters, I am going to be the first mercenary company to go onto the bourse. If anybody gets there before us, they've just stolen our idea.
Successful mercenary companies kind of
we rapidly realised after we had the annual contract with the Navarre, I was getting several, if I say so myself, influential people from different nations approaching me saying, I want to buy your next contract. And I was suddenly in this very difficult situation where I couldn't say yes to one and no to the other without causing significant bad feeling.
Yeah.
So I decided the only way to settle this was to put us up as an auction, which will be happening in spring. So bidding will start with 20 thrones with Navarre, because that's who currently hold our contract. And then if anybody wants to bid higher than that, our loyalty and contract will shift to them. And it was the only way I could see to sort of settle the fact that I had several generals, senators saying they wanted to buy my next contract without causing bad feelings. That was a really satisfying situation to be in.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes, that will be heavily advertised in winter and then on the board in spring.
Anyone watching this who thinks that this is arrogance, it's not, it's pride, so it's virtuous.
it's diplomacy as well.
Yeah. The Warrior DM said, I do miss the smell of a fire at night. When I smell a little bit of fire at work, I get all wistful.
Yeah, oh my god, occasionally people around here have a bonfire. And you just sort of walk down the street, just like...
We've been really lucky with the Seawolves that the members of the group and their associated hangers-on. So one of my groups, his boyfriend, has been fantastic at adding to our camp. He's a very practically minded person. He's got tools, he's got equipment, and other Seawolves in the group have invested in the turnout of their tents and some set dressing and so on. I'm really, really lucky with my group. We've got a really good camp, and it's become quite a social space. So we have the fire, we have the chairs around the campfire. If you're passing and you see people sat around the fire at the Seawolves, come and join us. It is an open space. And that's something that I really like about LARP, is that there is just that ability to walk around and meet new people and chat, because you've got these social situations of just people gathered around campfires.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I do. I love it when people come over to our fire. And then we'll always have like 7 or 8 chairs that are empty, because we'll just put way more out than we need.
Yeah.
And then we just get people come and sit with us, and it's just, especially new players. I love getting new players. So.
Yeah, and when we constructed the group, one of the reasons behind us all being these sort of loud, swaggering braggadocios is we want people to boast to. So you will be welcome around our fire as long as you can put up with us telling you how great we are. We also want to hear about why you're great as well. So I like that as an angle on the League Bravo brief, is that you need people to brag at and you need people to compete with, and that encourages social interaction.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. John said he heard that Chris earned 100 thrones for his first event. He just can't stay away from money. Nope, he really, really can't. Helen's asked what your favourite pieces of kit is.
Swords or hat for me. Or dueling cape. Or boots.
Yeah, I own an absolutely wonderful dueling cape, which I haven't managed to bring onto the field yet because of the long dark, but it was made by Golden Mochi, or is it Golden Mochi? Golden Mochi.
Yeah.
Golden Mochi. She does absolutely wonderful work. And it's gorgeous. It's sort of, it's like brocade with sort of like all of the sort of like embroidery on it. So it's quite sort of like Tasato-y, Sarvosi in its look, I guess, a bit. But then like she's added the furs as well to sort of like bring it into sort of like a more Temeshwari feel. So it's sort of it really like represents. Again, sounding really pretentious here, it really represents my character.
I think the best way as well is that it's also Golden Mochi did my dueling cape. And whereas my character has always been in Temeshwar, has always been from Temeshwar, and is very, because of being a mercenary captain, is very sharp, ruthless, mercenary in her outlook. And what Golden Mochi tends to do is ask you a little bit about your character, a little bit about what you want, and then they'll come back to you with some designs. And they would be really good at capturing your character in the garment. So although we both have a Temeshwari Leaguish dueling cape, they are a world apart. and you can see exactly whose is whose, because yours
Yeah.
has your plateau roots in it. It's got your colours in it. It's a little bit more flamboyant. Whereas mine is much more utilitarian. It's still beautiful. It's still a Leaguish garment, but it is much more mercenary in its look. So yeah, the dueling capes are probably the best thing to sum up the characters. But otherwise, the hat, the boots, the doublet, the tweaked trousers. League kit is just great.
Because I've seen the artwork that you have in your group's tent as well. That goes above there.
Portraits. Yes, we had some portraits done. So I, as the prince of the Sea Wolves and the captain of the mercenary company, and then you as the resident politician. So we have the portraits of the individual characters at either end of the tent, staring each other down across the table.
You say we had portraits done. I mean, it sounds more pretentious than it is. Kally's mum does photography, so
yeah, okay. We have a professional photographer in the family that took some stylized photos that can be passed off as paintings.
Yeah,
Nice.
But yeah, we have them staring each other down across the tent, and the idea is to gradually get all of the unit brought in down the sides as well. So again, it's just enhance that camp feel of a mercenary company.
Yeah, because we've put our artwork up as well. Some of it fantastic, some of it's all right. But it's all in character stuff. So if people come up to us in character and say, "I have done this for you," it's a fantastic thing for your group, and it goes up. It could be some. Yeah, it's literally it. It's someone could come up to us into our, because we've got that huge 7-meter bell tent that goes up, and it's massive. So that they get hung everywhere. We can find a space really, and people could come up to us and go, "Here's a stick figure drawing, and this is all of you," and that it would still go up because someone has. It's a gift, so it's like can't really turn it down.
In character artwork, I don't know anybody that isn't thrilled by any standard of in-character artwork. We are all narcissistic at heart. We all want to know that somebody has thought of us and created a thing.
Yeah, it's I love it. I really, really do. There's I can't remember the name of her Instagram, but basically Sue, who's in Ashenhall, she's an incredibly talented artist, and I keep on showing off the picture that she did of Helen. I will show it off again because it's amazing.
So this is the problem, right? So we've got this. Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Good mask. Good mask.
Yeah. So it's even the can't really see it too well, but there's a crow in there. So I can't. There's a crow in there as well. I can't see it. It's too bright.
That being the front cover of a comic book, you know?
Yeah. It's incredible.
I would read that.
It really, really is. I would love something like that. I really, really would love something like that one day.
That's right. There's so many great artists who attend LARP. We've got this like usual concept for sort of like just like when we're making something for the LARP field, or when we're sort of like making adding something to a piece of kit. Kally and I have this kind of inside joke where something is LARP good, where it's like it's not like professional standard, but it's good enough for the LARP field.
Yeah.
And what's such a shame is that none of the like art that we could do would count as that, because there's so many good artists.
The standard on particularly I think on the Empire field is so high.
Yeah.
And I really like the fact that you've probably, I mean, a lot of the artists on the LARP field are professional artists, but may not have an outlet for this slightly more fantastical creative side in their professional work. And therefore, I love the fact that they get to do these slightly more unusual designs, slightly more unusual pieces, because we've got this outlet in LARP for something a bit more off the wall.
There's this absolute legend who's just joined Varushka. I feel really sorry for him because of like the long dark that we're now in. But he is a professional cartographer. Like his job is map making, and he's done sort of like contract work for Ordnance Survey and for like international places. I think he's worked for like oil companies and that sort of stuff.
Wow.
And for like one of the outlets that he now has is like making sort of like these professional standard maps of the Empire field, or of the Empire. Like look, see if like try and find him on the field. He's in Varushka. I can't remember his character name. I don't want to say his OC name for the sake of like privacy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he'll be known about.
Yeah. But he's done some absolutely gorgeous, like sort of professional quality, like OS standard maps of the Empire.
Yeah, just going to clarify something for George in chat. No one starts with 10 thrones, mate. It's that was just me saying that he essentially took an entire group's kitty at 10 thrones and has turned it into a lot more. So that's why he had that. So I think business, it's 9 crowns and stuff. So that's pretty much it. So
a throne and a crown is the most like hard cash. Well, a throne and a crown and 18 rings is the most hard cash. That
and
you
so,
will start with.
dragging this back to the league topic, businesses in league are really pivotal because they're what give you voting rights. They're what tend to show that you are seriously invested in the prosperity of your city, which is a huge driving force in the league. So I think most nations have a resource that is quite integral to them. It's not to say that everybody has to take it, but it's something that will immediately give you some gain. And with the league, that's business.
Yeah, that's all right, George. No worries, mate. You're all good. Right, we'll go for a final question then, because we're going for an hour and a quarter, and my little one's not feeling very well tonight, so she's having an early night. So I've got about a quarter of an hour until I've got to get her sorted. Right, so the Warrior DM has asked, is there any advice you can give a character who has picked and will be a Bravo, but also wants to be a Kikabeo unofficially?
Do it.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
absolutely.
I don't know what advice you're looking for. By day, be the millionaire philanthropist, like braggadocio guy, and then by night be the sort of like more secretive social grease. That is an absolutely perfect opportunity for you to have 2 different masks as well.
Yeah, that really plays into the mask archetype. And I'd say, like, know what kind of aspect of Kikabeo and Bravo that you're going for. So if you're doing the Bravo to get onto the battlefield, that's great, but you can take the battlefield as literally any archetype. If you're doing the Bravo for the sort of swaggering, mouthy braggadocio side of it, that's awesome. Then what aspect of the Kikabeo are you going for? Are you looking to back that up with advertising and contracts and social arrangements, or are you looking to separate that completely and, like Sam says, be the fighter by day and the lover by night? Are you looking to get more involved in the sort of back alley, behind the scenes, underhanded dealings as your Kikabeo? So think about what type of Kikabeo you want to be. And yeah, I think that would partner really nicely as a sort of dual concept.
What I would say, though, so just to temper that slightly, is that, like, from a purely mechanical standpoint, you have to pick one archetype, because occasionally plot will come up that will affect an archetype or another. For example, about an event after I joined, Bite hit the field, which is a drug that is totally not cocaine. Bite first appeared in the character packs of Bravos and Montebanks. So if you are a Bravo on the system, you will experience things that Bravos are more likely to experience from a sort of like mechanics perspective.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Work out which of those is probably your more dominant trait.
Yeah.
Are you primarily a Kikabeo that is playing the part of a Bravo during the day, or are you a Bravo that is just a little bit more laid back and relaxed about things during the night?
They've said, I was thinking information gatherer as Kikabeo, but swagger suits my personality well. My archetype is Bravo. So.
Yeah,
go for it.
Yeah.
There are Kikabeos on the field that are bodyguards. There are Kikabeos on the field that are fighters, dueling masters, like I say. So it's quite loose, as long as it's on your character sheet as one thing in case there's any mechanical effect.
Yeah.
Then there's nothing to say that if you have this archetype, you have to behave in this way. It's just guides.
Yeah, it's there to sort of just like try and like guide your own mind as to the sort of role play that you're going to get involved in.
Yeah.
Take awesome. Giuliano is a Kikabeo. And he's the most sort of like braggadocio, swaggery sort of person that you could.
It's fair to say all leaguers will have swagger.
Yeah.
You don't make it in league if you can't front yourself up a bit. You know, it's all about reputation. It's all about impressions. You need to be able to sell yourself, whether that is as a quiet, reliable professional or an impressive, loudmouth fighter. you need to have a bit of swagger to yourself, whatever you're doing.
Yeah. So.
And no lie all the time. Just lie.
Spoken like a true politician.
No one expects you to lie, so just lie. It's really easy. You can say things that aren't true. It's great.
Don't break the deal.
So we'll call it there. So thanks for coming on, you two. I really appreciate it. It's been really interesting actually to get a bit more of an insight into the league, because it turns out everything I thought I knew about, everything I thought I knew about them, it turns out was wrong. So it's really that's been really, really good. As they're saying in chat, thanks for the advice. So that's been really, really cool.
It's now going over it and going like, oh God, what are they saying about my beautiful nation?
There's a lot of new players in chat, so in Discord as well. So if you when you finish licking the bottle, that is a euphemism. So if you
Bill, what can you say?
It is good cider. It is good cider. I talk a lot of shit.
On the Hefty Yeti.
I talk a lot of shit about the 2 feet and the Seawolves as well. So, but I will say,
you're very good friends out of character with the 2 feet.
Yeah, Justin is actually the guy that got us into brewing, so we owe him a lot.
Yeah.
So this is a friendly rivalry, but
as
2 feet is dishwater. So
yeah, it's just you find better stuff in a ditch, quite frankly. So.
Better than finding it in a pond. So, as George has just said, licking bottle is a virtue, so it's all good.
Absolutely, virtuous cider.
Feel free to stick in the Discord as well, because you get a lot of chat in there, and a lot of new players ask a lot of stuff. So you may find that you get people asking questions about the league and stuff as well. So
okay, we'll hang around for a bit and see what questions.
So I'm not saying tonight. No, I'm saying just stay in the server. So just keep an eye on it every now and again. So because you get a lot.
We're both quite active on the league Facebook group. It's a really welcoming Facebook group. There's a lot of activity in there from the more influential people. So any questions, shout. You will get answers.
Yeah. So that's.
It's not true. This has all been our opinion.
Yeah.
If you want clarity on anything, go to Tim Baker.
Any similarity to opinions, living or dead, is purely coincidental. So.
No, that's what they say. So everyone in chat, thanks for coming along. Thanks for asking the questions. Thanks for those who subscribed. Thanks for those who've donated as well. We're trying something new on Friday. We're not doing a LARP stream. We're going to be playing Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh, amazing.
So I've got a few people for that, so that's going to be good fun. So everyone take care. We'll see you all soon. Look after each other. Okay.